And pardon me if my and didn't have as much enthusiasm, but Bryan, this is what I learned from this exercise. Typically when me and you watching players, Bryan, what I'll do is I'll just pick the 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we've been doing a pretty good job of me picking the
until this week. This week.
Bryan, let me explain. The Gang of 7 gave us Kendall, Brooks, Evans, and Bowman. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I gave us Martinez, Ferguson, Lunt, and Mills.
Mm-hmm.
The viewer gave us Horn and Wester.
Right.
I can't trust the viewers, dog. I can't trust the viewers, just like I can't trust Tommy and Kyle when they told us to go watch Nick Martin. Just like we can't trust the Gang of 7 when they told us.
Can't trust my general manager buddies.
Can't trust them neither, boy. I don't care what team they out here coaching for, boy. They ain't got it right neither, bro. It seemed like when I'm picking the players, we seem to be excited about the guys we watch. So I'm taking over the responsibility for the moving on, Bryan.
I fully expected this, and I'd also like to make another disclaimer. I'd like to thank people real quick if I could. I went through all the comments. I want to thank all the people that came to my support for the thumbnails.
Man, listen.
For the they saw what was going on with the thumbnails, and I want to thank them for their support. They felt like that you're doing me wrong. Kind of like I was doing you wrong with my Gang of 7 names that I made you have to go watch. But yeah. Yeah, I see what's going on here. Yeah, exactly. But thank you. Thank you to everybody out there who feels like that I deserve a fair shake. I feel like I deserve a fair shake for these thumbnails. So appreciate your support.
Bryan, stop bringing up old stuff from 2 days ago, man. Please.
Just yesterday. It was yesterday.
I got you down for 2 bad thumbnails. Well,
bro,
damn, I need to stop. I got you down for 2 bad thumbnails. How about this one? I'm gonna purposely have me looking funny so you can look great for this thumbnail, right? How about that?
Nah, it's all good. No, I was just telling people I was reading the comments. So thank you for that.
Well, Bryan, let's give them an old ranking today.
Yeah.
We already kind of revealed the 2 I wasn't the biggest fan of, but you can go ahead and give it your best shot, sir. What about your rankings there?
Interesting, because I wonder if Lunt was too light in the ass for you. I think you're gonna like Mills a little bit. Okay, let's go Martinez. Let's go Mills, Lunt, Horn, Wester.
Okay, so we already talked about Martinez. So
well, I know. Okay, I was looking at Martinez. Gotcha. I had it on my list. I'm sorry, I read it off my list right here.
Gotcha.
So we already talked about Martinez. Okay, so let's go Lunt, Mills, Horn, Webster.
I think that's a good order for it, Bryan. I think that's a good order. Let's get the Colorado kids out the way, because I feel like I have to review them as a bunch. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like they kind of have the same deficiencies or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Both small.
So I'm a student from your tree,
right? And
I was looking to see if they walked on water, Bryan.
Right.
If you're gonna be that size in the league, you need to walk down some water, So we took a bucket and we splashed some water on the floor just to kind of see what happened, Bryan. And you know how when we watch Tez Johnson, who's a small guy.
Boy, that's what I was about to say. How were you comparing him to these Colorado receivers to Tez, but also to our
Miami kid?
Our Miami kid and our guy at Texas though too.
Bond can't play.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they might have to be with Bond. I might have to move Bond to extras. I don't know. But when I'm watching Tez, Bryan, I can at least see the burst from him. I can see him explode a little bit. I can see how he beats one-on-one coverage. And I didn't know that he was slow until he ran slow at the combine. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't come off as a very slow player to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I at least saw that.
Tape's a lot different.
And he has phenomenal tape. Yeah. our kid from Miami, he's a unique route runner. And I can see him burst out of the top of his routes, and I didn't see him drop a thing. Like I think he's a little different also.
Yeah.
They kind of close to Bond. You own something with Bond, but at least we can see Bond making plays versus a high level of competition. We could at least say that about Bond. We just don't like him as much as they liked him at first, right?
Sure.
You know, with Wester and Horn, I just didn't think that they did nothing super elite to justify their size or just taking them at that size. You know what I'm saying? When I was watching Horn, I thought Horn made some tough catches.
Yeah.
I thought he caught a bunch of bubbles. I didn't see a unique route runner. I didn't see a whole bunch of crispness coming out of the routes, coming out of the breaks or anything like that. I saw him kind of make his catches, and he'll get some solid yak stuff. He's a competitive, tough guy. He's a, you know what I mean? You can see some competitive nature in him, and I think it takes a system to make him good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is fine if you have a system, but I can say that about all these guys, right? Oh, well, so what about if Trey Harris had a system? Now I got Trey Harris in the system, but he's big and he does this and he does this and he does this and he does this. I just didn't see the trait that made Horn or Wester an above average receiver to me.
Yeah.
Maybe the Colorado offense kind of held them back a little bit. Both of them, you know, they caught a lot of bubbles. There was a lot of short passes. There was a bunch of, I did see some
at the line of scrimmage, a lot of at the line of scrimmage stuff. Yeah.
Sure, you know, I saw just like a basic smash concepts or just basic flood, just a real basic stuff. I didn't see them separate themselves from the scheme at all, right? And I just didn't see that much from them, you know what I'm saying? And even if I saw a little bit more, the size didn't justify me. You know what I'm saying? If they were if they were bigger, I would go, well, they have size and they're traits guys that you can work, or they got length you can work with, or they got a baseline speed you can work with. I think even as small guys, I don't even think they got the baseline speed that I would say like you know, Bond has. At least you could look at Bond and be like, well, Bond run fast, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know, so they might go undrafted, Brian. They a little bitty, and you know, just since we got Cowboy listeners here, I could just kind of context it like this: if Turpin was in this draft as regular TCU Turpin, like where would you take Turpin here? And I think you would have Turpin over these guys because Turpin could explode, like Turpin could go.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't take Turpin high like that. So I just got him down in the extras, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think to me, I had both these guys in the 5th round, and I really do appreciate you circling back to my history of learning if you're small, you better walk on water. I like Horn better than Wester.
Okay.
Is what I do. I'll say this though about Horn, and man, I kept thinking about Turpin about this. Because the guy is a punt returner. He is a kick returner. You could see him do that. 287 of his offensive snaps, 261 of them were played out of the slot. And I'm just kind of thinking, where do I play this guy other than the slot? You know, I mean, he doesn't have the biggest catch radius, but he does have, there's times where you see him make an extended catch, but I mean, it's just kind of like, I'm just thinking at 5'8" and at 174, you know, where am I going here? You know, it's this guy, you know, he was a transfer. I mean, he's got really good straight line speed. You know, you see a little bit of a burst. The free access, I think, really helps him. I think he can kind of leverage some stuff with his routes, but I just don't see a guy that has any type of a frame to play on the outside. So to me, then immediately like, okay, well, there's a place for slot players in the league, you know, 11 personnel stuff. Is he big enough to help, you know, in 11 personnel? Is he able to help you in the running game as a blocker, you know, on the outside? Kenny, you know, everything he does is out of the slot. And I think if he is going to help a team, that's where it's going to be. But he's going to have to be the punt and kickoff return guy too. And I don't see him being as explosive, even though I think there is some explosiveness, but not like what Turpin is. You know, I see with Turpin, you could kind of, you can kind of put him on the outside. You can kind of put him in the inside. You can kind of do things with him. But yeah, I struggled with, okay, is this guy similar to what we've seen, like with, and you mentioned with Bond, with some of these other small guys with Harris, or some Harris, Tej Johnson, smaller guys. And I have Tej Johnson in the 3rd round. I got Bond in the 4th round.
Yep.
And I was trying to debate if I had these guys over Bond, and I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I could.
I don't think I could do it. So I've got them both in the 5th round. I'll talk to you a little bit about with Wester as well, his situation.
He's a little taller.
We get a little taller, 163 pounds. He's 5'10". He's 163. This guy at Florida Atlantic was a big time receiver. I mean, big time receiver. The short area quickness is good. The change to some speed when he can run. I thought he did play with some acceleration, the hands, tracks it, understands how to settle. I thought he showed some toughness. He's good at work in the middle of the field. If the ball's short, he'll come back to it, tracking the ball, things like that. But like I said, that size is just, it's just kind of a deterrent to me. But man, I just went back and I didn't look at any Florida Atlantic tape.
Yeah.
But man, he had some productive years there. These 163-pound guys, that's just hard for me to deal with. It really, really is. Unless, like you alluded to earlier, my days in Green Bay, when you're that size, Ron Wolf used to say, you better be able to walk on water. I don't see 2 guys here that walk on water. So that's why I got them both in the 5th.
Yeah. 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 The audience recommended that one for us. So I do feel like we need to watch some more wide receivers though, Bryan.
Yeah.
They're all at the top for us, but I don't.
There's a kid.
Go ahead.
Kid from Eastern Washington, I think Chisholm. Is a guy we got to watch. I think there's probably some guys that they're still out there that we need to get done. And I know Zach Wolchuk gave me a linebacker, that linebacker from Cal. He says need to watch. So I know there's some players still on this list that we need to get to.
I will make the list, Brad. We're not taking.
I know. You'll make the list. I'm sorry about I'm sorry about the Colorado kids.
It's all right. It's all right.
I mean, I know. To me personally, I didn't see what I thought I was going to see there.
People watch a lot of Colorado, and they're a very popular school to watch. And I get it. I did like Lunt and Mills a lot, though.
Okay.
So my thing about Lunt, I didn't think he was too light.
Okay.
He may look a little light when he's engaging sometimes, but I think that's just because he's tall and sometimes people get up under him sometimes. But I saw a feisty fighter character, Bryan Broaddus. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right. I watched Duke, NC State, and I watched Tennessee from last year. So he got to go against
Tennessee. Yeah,
he got to go against Pierce a little bit. And I thought that was exciting. I went to go watch that one. And hey, Bryan.
Yeah.
Hey, Pierce. But I think he is a really feisty character. I think he brings a lot of fight to the party. I saw him do a lot of reach blocking. I don't know if that was just because Duke did that on purpose or whatever, but sometimes when he has to reach to the inside, he doesn't always get there. But when he's reaching to the outside, I think he's a pretty decent reach blocker. I think he climbs to the next level pretty good. I think when he's out in space, blocking DBs and all that is fine. I think he has a good feel for getting the finish when he can. I don't think he's an overly powerful player. But when he does get drive, he does look to finish a little bit, and I do like that. Down blocks are fine. Zone stuff is fine. He seems to be a solid player that has a lot of room to grow. Like technique wise, like where his hands land, and sometimes when he gets caught up in these fights or whatever, his hands get all over the place. They're not really settled and accurate like they kind of should be. Because when you're reach blocking outside, you're working towards the outside shoulder, and sometimes he don't always get to the outside shoulder. Sometimes he doesn't always get his hat over there neither. So it's just small technique things with him, but he got a lot of feistiness in him. I like that. As an athlete, it's interesting because, like I said, I think he can move really good in one direction. But I think if a player gets too far, I don't think that works really well for him. He's not an exceptional athlete. He's not a ridiculously good-footed athlete. But I think it's good enough to kind of do the job. But I do think it's pretty cool. I saw him quick on gap exchanges, right? Like if somebody's standing around him, he'll push those guys in. His guards weren't so great at the gap exchanges though, Brian. But at least he was. And there's one more thing I missed. I thought he was strong enough when engaging in the run game, but sometimes I think he has a hard time dealing with the bull rush. Like if they get up under him and they get a good bull rush on him, I think he can kind of not be great with power there. But that could be a leverage thing because he's so tall. I considered maybe he's like a tall guard, maybe. Like in my mind, I was thinking maybe that'll help with some of the stuff, but I said nah, he's probably just a tackle. He just needs to overcome his tackle deficiencies. But I got him in the fourth round. What you think about Chase Lunt from UConn?
Yeah, I had him in the fourth round as well. You know who this guy remind me of?
I don't know who he reminds you of. So please tell me.
He's a taller Terrence Steele.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
like mobile,
run blocker. Move around,
blocker, get out,
can't deal
around.
with the power. That's fair. That's fair. Tall Terrence Steele is good.
Tall Terrence Steele. I mean, when I watched this guy play, I thought, this is a tall Terrence Steele. I will disagree with you about something here. I do. Okay. And Voch, you know me well.
Yeah.
What do I always have problems with? Tackles that have no strength.
Yeah.
All the time.
Sure.
Tackles that have no power, no strength, give me problems.
Yep.
But a lot of them have played in this league. And this is why I kind of thought about this kid as a taller Terrence Steele. I disagree with you on this.
Okay.
I think he can cover a lot of ground out of his stance.
Okay.
I think he plays quicker. I think he gets into his block quickly. I think he's an outstanding foot athlete. I think he can make blocks along the line of scrimmage, the reach, the range. He can widen his set for his footwork. I watched Tennessee, Boston College, and the North Carolina game, as you mentioned.
Okay.
I don't think he lets defenders break him down. I liked his hands. He kind of keeps them going, and I think the hand-to-hand combat with tackles, when they try and swipe you and you swipe them, and then you could see him. You could see him playing that game like da 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 da. They're trying to hit his hands, and he's trying to reset his hands. He is not the strongest. I think he's got patience. I think he's got mobility. I don't think he has a lot of lower body power and girth you like with your tackles.
Yeah.
He's tall, he's lean. But I do like the way he plays in space. But there are some snaps where you see him get rocked.
Yeah.
North Carolina in that bowl game rocked him a couple of times. And he got knocked to the ground against Tennessee. I kind of felt like he was holding his own, out there. But man, I always have trouble with these lighter tackles, but they've proved me wrong more than right.
Yeah.
And this player might be the same. So I do as well have him in the fourth round on my board. I have him in that group with Trapillo from Boston College, Jones from LSU, and then Lunt right there. Those are like my fourth round offensive tackles at this time.
Brian, let's do something a little fun, okay? So me and you slightly, me and you slightly disagree about his movement or whatever, right?
Right.
How about this? Can I show you 3 plays that made me feel the way I feel?
Okay, go ahead.
I think this would be a good exercise for everybody watching because we may not disagree, but sometimes it's just you may see something, I may see something, right?
Right.
Let me just show you what I see, right? Let me pull this up. and I think this will be a fantastic segment one day. So let me see. So he's our right tackle, number 75, all right?
75.
So when I see him moving on this play, I see some really good movement here. I think he's a good.
There's your pin and pull stuff right there.
That's him right there. Fantastic.
That's your yeah.
Fantastic. Getting some good nasty finish on a little bitty dude over there. I like that. Bryan, it was let me see. At 55 is where I had it. At 55, let's just watch 50. Let's watch our right tackle 75 right here. I really wanted him to get on the other side of that shoulder, reaching inside, Bryan.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm thinking like maybe it was a deeper step he could have taken, but I really wanted him to get his head on that opposite shoulder. Like if he's stepping left, I want him to be on the defender's right shoulder and his left shoulder, right? That's kind of what I wanted from him. And if I could just show one more, Bryan, let me see. But let's see right here. Boom. But he's fine here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I was asking, Bryan, like maybe he's better working in one direction, maybe working the other, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not so much.
No, you play it going to his right, then go to his left. Better,
And that could be because he's right-handed and he just feels better opening up in one direction. But I do think he's a good moving athlete, but just some plays, they run a ton of outside zone, Bryan. So just some plays, I just wanted him to cover that defender up a little bit more. There's a lot more examples. That's just what I got to quickly because the Duke game jumped out at me. Right. I don't think you're wrong neither. But that's why I said, sometimes he does have trouble getting to that outside shoulder, Bryan. That's why I was saying.
Sure. No, I mean that and I always appreciate when you could throw tape on and see that. I think this guy, man, I mean, I know watching the game, the first, there were a couple of times in that, I want to say it was the Boston College game. Like he was snatching those dudes. Yeah, he was North Carolina snatching those dudes. And I kind of felt like I'm like, man, this guy he just appeared to be such a good athlete. And he did exactly what you were trying to point out in the Duke game.
Sure.
He getting the head across, been able to kind of work his head across and then work his butt around to kind of finish, to cut that guy off. Mm-hmm. And but man, again, I didn't see the Duke game. Yeah. But that's a fair thing that, I just kind of felt like that when
this money right
the
here.
blocks along the line of scrimmage, were I thought were really, really, really good. I mean, and here's a guy that, he does play with his hand down, and then, you'll see him here but he's a 2-point stance right here. Mm-hmm. But these are good. See that? I mean, that's what I was talking about. Like kick wide. We always, one of the coaching points they always tell you, and you know this, Voch, because you're a former lineman, tackles responsible for the width of the pocket.
Yes, sir.
Guards and the center is responsible for the depth.
Yeah.
When he keeps his guy wide like that, that's exactly what we talk about, keeping the width of the pocket right there, and the way that he plays. Right so,
here.
Yeah.
Right here.
But I like see he keeps that guy wide. Man, I could say 4th round. She's Trapillo, Boston College.
Sure.
He's right there with those guys. I mean,
should we have him a little higher, Bryan? Should we have him like as a super late 3rd guy, maybe? I like him. I like him a lot.
I like the player. I like the player too. I can't. I'm thinking about the what I've got in the 3rd.
Yeah.
And I've got Grant, Ursery. Mm-hmm. The one that I need to revisit is Cameron Williams from Texas.
Yeah.
If that's the one that could be a 139 for me, that could be a 4th round guy. If you were gonna put Trapillo or Lunt, I mean, maybe Cam Williams. Cam Williams is a big man.
Yeah.
A really big man. I don't know if he has the athletic ability.
I think he's a guard. He might be a guard, Bryan.
No, I think you might be right about that.
Yeah.
I think you might be right about that.
I got to revisit that one, Bryan. But watching Lunt,
I'm leaving this guy in the 4th. I'm leaving this guy in the 4th because I'm going to acknowledge that he's a really, really good athlete. Sure. But me and the whole damn strength thing is just a nightmare for me.
I think he could.
I
drive those guys
I
around.
never get those guys right. But I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if he was taken in the third. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. It was so refreshing to see somebody I like though. Like just at this point, like if he ended up on the Cowboys in one of these later rounds or something like that, maybe not third, but if we found a way to get a fourth, we got him in the fourth, I'd be pretty happy to get this dude, man.
I would too. Is that him right there? Go back if we could on that one. Was that
this one right here?
There's that right here. Yeah. What's this? That's an outside hook.
That's fantastic. That's money right there.
There's pin that guy inside. This is the type of guy, if you're going to play with the lead blockers and pin and pulls, and this is why this guy reminded me of
Terrence
Steele, a taller Terrence Steele.
Yeah. Fantastic, man. Always fun to bring up some film and just some good discussion because he's not a very cut and dry conversation. Like we need to discuss this guy a little bit, but I'm a fan.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if he went ahead of Trapillo and other guys that we're talking about, man, and maybe not. The Cameron Williams from Texas is a concern to me. I saw him so early.
Yeah.
Need to go back and look at those playoff games and kind of get an idea of like, okay, is this guy really a guy I would take in the third round, or is he just a massive dude that happens to play on a pretty damn good offensive line?
Sure. That's a good point, Brian. We're gonna write that down and come back to Cameron Williams. We're gonna discuss that. Riley Mills, though, Brian.
Okay.
I was a little shocked at this Riley Mills kid, man. I was a little shocked at him. Because when I first watched a little bit of him, I was like, all right, he's gonna be one of these burly, strong guys, and he is. He's a very strong guy. He takes on these double teams. Some people got to get on one knee and turn into an obstacle to take on double teams. He just kind of take them on. I'm like, he's strong. I feel like he has some good punching extension to him, Brian. He'll probably be a good odd front two gapping guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. As a playing maybe even as an edge, as an end.
Sure.
With some of his stuff, yeah.
Brian, I had to pull up his game log because I do that a bunch, and I noticed he had some sacks. Right? I said, all right.
He does.
I said, let me go.
You watch him against Florida State, sack him a bunch.
Florida State and Stanford. Look. I looked at sacks up, Brian. Yeah. And he's pushing kids around, getting sacks, Brian.
Yeah.
I say, damn, Riley Mills. I don't think he's like a bendy player or anything like that, but he's like he's a sack getting power rusher guy. He's a pocket pushing power rusher guy.
Exactly.
I think he can play B gap, but he's strong enough to be A gap guy. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So I guess he's flexible to do stuff like that, Brian. But I think his end game or whatever is 2 gap and 3-4 defensive end guy that can get that can get you some good B gap pressures in the league. And I ain't even got a long evaluation of him, Brian. I just think that's just what he is.
No, I think you're spot on. I had the guy in the 4th round myself. And and I was trying to kind of figure out if you want to, I've got him in that cluster. I've got him in that cluster. I'm not trying to, but I got him in the cluster of.
It's a big jumble down there, isn't it?
I put him in as a 3. I put him as a 3, kind of a 3, like you said, B gap guy.
Okay.
Peebles from where's our guy? Peebles from
VTech.
He's
VTech.
Virginia Tech. Farmer, Pegues, Mills. That's kind of how my 4th round 3 technique guys are.
Yeah.
So I had maybe better than Pegues, but I like Peebles and Farmer a little bit better. Pegues, Ole Miss, but I'll say this about the kid. And here I'm calling a kid again, but here we are.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I think he's 6'5", he's 291. And he is super active in the way he plays. This guy's got this nonstop motor for the position. You're right. I don't think he's the best athlete.
Yeah.
But I think he makes up with it with other traits. Yeah. The upper body strength, the power, the control the blocker at the point of attack. I see a guy that can stack and shed. I think he's got decent technique. You'll see occasional arm over. I think he's best when he can make tackles with kind of like blockers hanging on him. I mean, he could be like powering through and then like guys trying to block him, but he's standing there going to make the tackle. I mean, he's solid to collapse the pocket. I think he's got a feel for how to get in the backfield and kind of affect the throw. He hurt his knee in the Indiana game when coming off the edge as a pass rusher. That was the playoff game. So we need to kind of figure out how severe was that. Was that something that, we're going to have to deal with when he gets drafted, training camp? We need to figure that one out. But I think he's best when he can play against the run, because I think he recognizes blocks. I think he puts himself in position to make plays. The pad level will get a little tall, but he's going to win with power. He could be a little tight sometimes, but again, solid run defender. He's going to be an older guy.
Yeah.
So he was a fifth-year player for the Irish this year. But I'll tell you what, man, he's the type of guy that, you're going to put him in a rotational system. I think you're right about maybe him playing as a head-up 5 technique in an odd front where he could just leverage the tackle inside, outside, 2-gap, get up the field. But if somebody drafts him in a 4-3, I mean, he could probably play the 3, probably play the 1, just in some search situations. But he does have the ability to collapse the pocket at 291 pounds because he's got really good strength.
Sure. Yeah. And this motor and like ferocity, I guess, that he just that, you know what I'm saying? And he's a tough player, and you could say that about all football players, but like some of those guys separate themselves as like tough guys, like run down the middle of like some guys are run down the middle of you guys, right?
Yeah, and just try and push, and they have no plan.
But he has that JJ Watt kind of thing going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has that old JJ Watt thing. Not the athlete Watt is, but I was pleasantly surprised because about the certain defensive ends are a little more athletic than others.
Yeah. Did you put him as an end?
He felt like one, but he felt like a 3-tech 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just kind of put him at a 3, but I said end because I saw a lot of rushes from the edge, and I saw.
That's how he got hurt in the Indiana game. I mean, I'm watching the Indiana playoff game, and he's coming around the corner, and he's about to get a sack, and his knee just kind of gives out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh damn, he's going to be, it's going to be a year long. He's not going to get drafted, kind of a thing. But need to check on him. But man, he is a
fun player.
He's a fun player. Yeah, you use the word fun player. He's a good one to watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to know what y'all think about Riley Mills and Chase Lunt.
I'm gonna make a bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a bet when I get and read the comments in the morning.
They're gonna love the Colorado kids.
They're gonna love the Colorado kids.
Yeah. And they can.
But that's fine.
They'd be wrong, but yeah, they can love.
No, I tell you, like I say, the 165-pound and can only play one spot. I mean, where do you take that guy?
This is what happened. National television makes people love these guys, right?
Oh, sure.
So when Colorado comes on TV, right, and let's just say Kansas beat the hell out of them, everybody hit us up about Devin Neal that week. Oh, Voch, you need to watch Devin Neal. Listen, sir, I got this. Or Scatterbo got most of his fans running over Texas on TV.
Yeah.
These TV games make people run and go see these guys. And Colorado came on TV a lot. That's what it was.
Yeah, just as long as everybody's watching them, that's all. But it's funny; they'll remind us the minute that the
minute they go to Buffalo, one gonna go to Buffalo and the other gonna go to Kansas City, and they're gonna have long careers, Brian. That's how it works.
Right. That's how it works. That's how it works.
Chat, I would love for y'all to rank those four. Let us
Please
know.
Do.
You know what I'm saying? Let us know where y'all at with it. Mills, Lunt, Wester, and Horn. Let us know where y'all at with it. I'll compile another 10, and we're going to do this all over again next week. And I love to do this, Bryan Broaddus. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Go watch the draft show this week. Go tap in with those guys. And, I was on it, so I'm part of those guys, so go watch it.
Are you on next week? Are you in the draft show next week?
Not Tuesday, but I'm back Thursday. So y'all be sure to watch Tuesday now. I know I ain't there. But y'all be sure to watch Tuesday, but definitely watch.
Well, if Bobby's on the schedule, you just need to show up.
Yeah, I'll just come and do Bobby's work, and I'll get paid.
just to take Bobby's spot.
But I don't know, man. Eagleton, man, I want to. They don't want to pay me that much, so so I'm still ask.
I don't know, man. We're a $10 billion company.
They ain't got it.
I hope we can pay.
They ain't got it.
They ain't got it.
Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. VOCHLOMBARDI and BRYN Broaddus. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all to pieces, man. And we'll do this again next week. Well, y'all hold it down now. Crown.